If you like what you watch, then don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Twitter for the latest updates on The More Show. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel for new weekly television and radio shows.
Welcome back. Now, you just saw the trailer there for Julius Caesar by the British Youth Film Academy. I'm now joined by the founder of the BYFA, Andrew Walkington. Now, Andrew set up the British Youth Film Academy in 2002 to help bridge the gap between education and the commercial film industry. It gives people aged 14 to 25 the opportunity to work both in front and behind the camera. Andrew Walkington, welcome to the show.
Pleasure to be here.
Now, Andrew, just give me a bit of background on the BYFA to begin with, and yourself.
The Cooperative British Youth Film Academy was started really with one college, and I went to the principal and I said, can I have £50,000 to make a feature film? And the principal said yes. And from there it grew until where it is now, which is a cooperative of 18 further education and higher education institutions across the UK. And together, every summer, we sort of pitch up camp at various institutions, and we make feature films with young people.
I mean, that's just incredible. I mean, the sheer size of this project. I mean, I guess you never saw yourself going on this journey, did you, to begin with?
No, I mean, I don't know whether anybody could actually really see and foretell the future in that sense. I think the reality is that you take every step as it comes. And what I saw was a gap between what happens in the classroom and in education and what is necessary for people to work in the industry. And really, that's why BYFA exists, to bridge the gap between those two.
Now, we just saw the trailer at the start of the show there. Just tell us a bit about how, that production of that trailer and just where that's ended up now, as in awards recognition as well.
Okay, Julius Caesar was shot in Wolverhampton just over a year ago by over 150 young people at Wolverhampton College. I am delighted with this film because it really is BYFA coming of age. Through all the processes and growth of BYFA, of having professionals coming in and working with students, with myself directing some of the films. This was the first film where it was directed by graduates of the process. So everybody involved with this film was BYFA. You cut them right through the middle and they'd say BYFA like a stick of rock. And the real celebration is that it is an incredible achievement and an incredible film. It's highly artistic, it's highly entertaining, and it's very, very powerful. And this has been made by 14 to 25-year-olds. Not by long-in-the-tooth professionals, but people new to the industry who are keen to make their mark and to do something
absolutely. And some of these key actors in the film as well, they've now gone on, decided to go on to careers or at least college to go into these.
Absolutely.
Roles as well.
The directors, if I can just speak about John Montegrande, he's got a fascinating journey. He started right at the beginning in 2002. When we made the feature film Upstaged at South Cheshire College. And his journey was sort of quite a dark one, where he sort of left college, he slipped into sort of a pit of despair, he got involved with drugs, and I kind of caught up with him when he was actually sleeping in a chicken coop. He came round to visit and said, look, I'm at the lowest ebb of my life. And I said, well, all right, John, come live in my house and come work with us at BYFA. We'll see whether we can inspire you and get you working again. He's a very talented lad, or man, as he is now. And he sorted his life out. This very slow process of sort of recovering from drugs. He then applied to Central School of Speech and Drama. He was accepted to Central School of Speech and Drama. And now as a graduate, he's just directed a second feature film with BYFA, and he'll be going on to directing a third with the cooperative group who are our sponsors. Absolutely.
So as regards young people and education then, I mean, you would class it that this is a very important step to getting young people, you know, into the industry. It's that first, you know, foot on the doorstep, isn't it?
Yes. You asked earlier what kind of awards Julius Caesar had actually received, and we're celebrating because just 2 weeks ago it was premiered at Raindance Film Festival, and this was alongside feature films created by people of all ages and all backgrounds representing the best independent films in the world and the UK. And there it is, a film made by 14 to 25-year-olds alongside.
Absolutely, and going up against some of the big names as well.
Absolutely, yes.
I would have thought, yeah. So, I mean, with the BYFA, would you say that this opportunity, you know, is needed nowadays? Would you say you're trying to sort of, you know, bridge a gap in the market as such?
Yes. When I graduated from university, it was into a recession, pretty much like now, and we weren't really prepared for industry. We were prepared for a sort of a knowledge, for an academic knowledge, and then we sort of churned off the end and it's sort of fend for yourself. And it took me 10 years to gain a basic understanding of how industry operates and the way that it works. I mean, simple things like 85% of the creative industries in the UK are self-employed. I never knew that. It took experience to learn that. I thought you came out of university, you were wonderful, and everybody would realise how wonderful you were and give you a job. Not true. People have to be prepared for industry. And that doesn't mean that they have to be prepared to work within the industry that already exists, but they have to be prepared to work for themselves. They have to gain that basics, those basics of knowledge that enable them either to walk onto a professional set and know how it operates and where they fit in, or that they can go it alone, they can make their own product and have their own voice.
Well, do you think that's a problem with some of the colleges and universities where they don't bridge that gap? Where they come out of university and they don't have the experience? I mean, it is a bit of a chicken and egg situation. Which comes first?
I would say both together. And I would say thank you to the 18 members of our cooperative that they saw that gap themselves. They saw the fact that as well as preparing people academically and vocationally, I'm not just talking about the skills, it's an understanding of workplace. It's an understanding of the way that industry operates. And if I explain it like this, you don't hear people in other industries, you don't hear students saying, I want to be managing director of a high street chain of shops. And it's a lovely aspiration. But all the time when it comes to this industry, you hear people in education talking about, I want to be a producer, I want to be a director. Now, in the industry, these people get paid very, very well. And to be frank, most of them, there's always an exception to prove the rule, but most of them are 40 years plus. And the reason they're 40 years plus is because they're paid wages similar to being a head teacher of a high school, a principal, or a managing director of a high street chain. So really, it's a case of presenting things in a real and honest way. It's removing the glamour of the industry and showing the industry as it is, showing it for warts and all, showing it as an industry. Yes, it's about developing one's creativity and exploring those things, which academically is so important. But if you miss the economy, if you miss the understanding that you have to make money through the process of making a film, well, nobody will give you the money to make it.
No, absolutely not, and I agree. But in times like now, when the jobs are very limited in the media. I mean, what is BYFA able to offer in that respect? I mean, I mean, you can't go around creating, there's no jobs to create if they're not there, but I mean, obviously, to have the association with yourself and to have done the courses must mean a lot of recognition.
Yes, I think the reality is that the industry is about aptitude, and the one thing that we can't generate at BYFA is a personal aptitude. We can encourage, we can lead the horse to water, but it's up to the individual to rise to that challenge.
Yeah, they've got to have that drive, haven't they?
And people at BYFA learn through doing. Very, very importantly, we're sponsored by the cooperative group. We are the Cooperative British Youth Film Academy, and that affects everything in what we do. So we learn through a cooperative process. We have young people learning with young people, learning together in order to understand professional operations. And the very best of our students, and I mean this, not the people who are most privileged. I just mean those who shine, those who come along and do well. They are getting work in the industry, because the reality is that yes, it's a recession, but if we talk about a recession, it's perhaps a sort of a 2% reduction in the size of the economy. It still means that there's other parts of growth. There's still things happening within industry. There is still industry taking place. And so the British film industry might in one sense be this sort of dying tortoise that's not really doesn't get anywhere. But you could look at it in another way and think, well, actually we have more media students now than ever before in the history of education. And people go, well, there's not the jobs. Well, when I was at school, I was encouraged to think about things like steel work. I mean, crumbs, coal mines.
And how different it is now.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what would be that one piece of advice you'd like to give to someone who's watching this now and is thinking, well, that may be a career I'd like to do?
You can't deny the statistics. The figures say that 1 in 10 people in the UK works in the creative industries. It's a significant industry. And I think gone are the days when it can be looked on as something that's sort of just wishful thinking. The reality of the industry, though, is that it is a cottage industry. There are some large organisations like Sky, the BBC, ITV, but the majority are small companies with fewer than 10 employees. And there is growth within the creative industries. The avenues available now for young people to engage in filmmaking and media techniques is huge. Obviously the internet now is just massive and continually growing in its scope and the potential to actually watch things online.
Okay, how can people find out more information about yourself?
You can look at our website, www.britishyouthfilmacademy.com. And we obviously have a Facebook page as well that you can access us there, and do have a look at the work that the young people have done. Obviously today we've looked at Julius Caesar, and Julius Caesar is an exceptional film, but I believe all our students are exceptional, and there is a broad range of films.
So all the links are on your page. Yeah, okay, well, absolutely. Andrew, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Don't go anywhere, and we'll see you after the break.
Visit themoreshow.co.uk/shop to purchase products and services from your favourite past guests. If you're new to this site, you can also catch up on the previous television and radio shows through YouTube and the More Show website.